In an era when digital effects were reshaping cinema, one film dared to recreate the authentic brutality of life at sea. Master and Commander wasn't just another naval adventure, it was a cinematic expedition built on wood, rope, and raw human endurance. Director Peter Weir assembled a crew willing to suffer for realism. Actors climbed real rigging, endured genuine storms, and learned the language of the sea from naval veterans. The result felt like a portal to another century. What you're about to discover are the secrets behind this masterpiece. And it all began with a bold decision about the story itself. Number 1. The novel mashup. Adapting a beloved book series is always risky, but Peter Weir took an even bolder approach. Instead of filming just one of Patrick O'Brian's novels, he cherry-picked the best moments from multiple books in the legendary Aubrey Maturin series. Characters, plot points, and entire sequences were blended into a single cohesive narrative that captured the essence of O'Brian's 20-book saga. This wasn't laziness or disrespect to the source material, it was surgical precision. Weir understood that a faithful adaptation of one book might lose the grand scope that made the series beloved. By weaving together storylines from several novels, he created something that felt both familiar to fans and accessible to newcomers. The result was a film that honored O'Brian's spirit without being shackled to a single plot. Weir's mashup approach gave audiences the heart of the saga, while crafting a standalone story that could exist on its own terms. Number 2. Real-life captain behind the legend. Every great character needs inspiration, and Captain Jack Aubrey found his in a real naval legend. Thomas Cochrane was one of the most daring and innovative commanders in British naval history. His fearless tactics, magnetic charisma, and genius for improvisation made him both a hero and a controversial figure in his time. Cochrane's real-life exploits were so extraordinary they seemed like fiction. He once captured a Spanish frigate with a crew a fraction of its size, using nothing but audacity and clever maneuvering. His willingness to bend rules and challenge authority made him beloved by his men and distrusted by naval bureaucrats. Russell Crowe's portrayal of Aubrey drew directly from Cochrane's legacy. The captain's boldness, tactical brilliance, and unwavering confidence all echoed the real man's spirit. By grounding Aubrey in historical truth, the film gained a layer of authenticity that pure invention could never achieve. Number 3. The ship the time forgot. Most period films settle for clever camera angles and partial sets. Peter Weir demanded something far more ambitious, a complete, historically accurate replica of HMS Surprise. Built from authentic plans and materials, this wasn't just a movie prop. It was a functioning vessel that could actually sail, complete with period-accurate rigging, cannons, and craftsmanship. Every rope was tied using techniques from the early 1800s. Every plank was cut and fitted the way naval carpenters would have done it 2 centuries ago. The ship became a living classroom where cast and crew learned what it truly meant to work aboard a vessel from the age of sail. This commitment transformed the entire production. When audiences watched sailors scrambling across the deck or furling sails in a storm, they were witnessing real physical struggle. The ship taught everyone involved how unforgiving life at sea could be, and that authenticity radiates from every frame. Number 4. When the sea wasn't the sea. Here's a secret that might shatter some illusions. Most of the ocean you see in Master and Commander wasn't real ocean at all. Despite the film's remarkable maritime authenticity, only a handful of days were spent filming on actual open water. The vast majority of those sweeping ocean scenes were created in massive water tanks and carefully controlled studio environments. The production used enormous wave machines and motion platforms to recreate the unpredictable movement of the sea. These mechanical systems could generate swells, pitches, and rolls that mimicked real ocean conditions, without the danger and unpredictability of filming far from shore. This approach gave Weir complete control over every shot. He could repeat takes without worrying about weather, lighting, or losing actors to seasickness. The irony is perfect. A film celebrated for its authenticity achieved much of that realism through theatrical ingenuity rather than actual ocean filming. Number 5. The hidden bird expert. When the story reached the Galapagos Islands, Peter Weir faced an unusual challenge. How do you make actors interact believably with exotic wildlife they'd never encountered? His solution revealed his obsessive attention to detail. He brought in a professional ornithologist to guide the entire sequence. This wasn't just a consultant checking facts from the sidelines. The bird expert worked directly with the cast, teaching them how different species moved, nested, and reacted to human presence. Paul Bettany, playing the naturalist Dr. Acheron, learned to handle specimens and observe behavior exactly as a real 19th century scientist would have. The result was a sequence where every gesture and reaction felt genuine. It's a small detail that most audiences would never notice, but it perfectly exemplifies Weir's philosophy. Authenticity in every element, no matter how minor. Number 6. The Galapagos illusion. The Galapagos Island sequences are visually stunning, transporting viewers to one of Earth's most isolated archipelagos. But here's the twist. The cast and crew never actually set foot on the real Galapagos. Those breathtaking volcanic landscapes, exotic rock formations, and pristine beaches were filmed elsewhere and seamlessly blended together in post-production. The production team scouted locations that could convincingly double for the islands. They captured the unique lighting conditions, stark geological features, and sense of isolation that define the archipelago. Through careful selection and skilled editing, they created a composite that felt authentic without the logistical nightmare of filming in a protected UNESCO World Heritage Site. The illusion was so convincing that audiences never questioned it, proving that cinematic magic doesn't always require being in the actual location. Number 7. Historical twists and quiet rewrites. Patrick O'Brien's original novel featured an American vessel as the enemy ship, reflecting the historical tensions of the War of 1812. Peter Weir made a calculated decision to change this detail, transforming the adversary from American to French. This wasn't artistic whimsy, it was diplomatic strategy designed to avoid unnecessary controversy. The change made perfect sense within the broader Napoleonic Wars context. French ships were equally formidable opponents during this era, and the switch didn't compromise the story's historical plausibility. Weir also adjusted timelines, crew compositions, and voyage details to create better cinematic pacing. These quiet rewrites demonstrated Weir's understanding of international audiences. By removing potential political friction, he created a story that felt timeless rather than tied to specific national conflicts. The film could focus on universal themes of duty, friendship, and survival without getting tangled in historical grudges. Number 8. Naval Boot Camp from Hell. Hollywood actors are used to preparation, but nothing could have readied them for what Peter Weir demanded. Before a single frame was filmed, the cast endured an intensive training program run by former Royal Navy sailors. This wasn't a weekend workshop. It was a grueling immersion into 19th century naval life that tested every participant's physical and mental limits. The actors learned authentic commands, mastered complex knot tying, and absorbed ship etiquette from the age of sail. They slept in hammocks, climbed rigging in all-weather conditions, and performed drills with the precision expected of real sailors. This brutal preparation transformed performances in ways traditional acting techniques never could. When cameras rolled, the cast didn't need to pretend they understood shipboard life. They'd lived it. Their exhaustion was real, their movements were practiced, and their camaraderie was forged through shared suffering. Number 9. The lighting of the age of sail. Cinematographer Russell Boyd faced a crucial decision: light the film like a modern movie, or honor how people actually saw in the early 1800s. He chose authenticity, rejecting contemporary lighting equipment in favor of candles, oil lanterns, and carefully reflected natural sunlight. This radical approach gave Master and Commander a visual signature unlike anything audiences had seen. Boyd studied maritime paintings from the period, analyzing how artists captured light, filtering through canvas, reflecting off water, and illuminating cramped ship interiors. He replicated these qualities on film, creating scenes that glowed with the warm, flickering quality of actual flame. The technique was risky and technically demanding, but it paid off spectacularly. Boyd's cinematography earned an Academy Award and gave the film its distinctive look. Every scene felt like a living painting, transporting viewers not just to another time, but to another way of seeing the world. Number 10. Battle sounds born in fire. Sound designer Richard King understood that naval combat couldn't be faked with stock audio libraries. To capture the true fury of cannon fire, he took an extraordinary approach, recording live rounds from authentic antique cannons. The deep, earth-shaking boom of real black powder artillery became the foundation of the film's sonic landscape. King didn't stop with cannons. He captured the crack of splintering timber, the metallic screech of chains under stress, and the roar of wind through rigging. Each sound was layered and mixed to create the sensory chaos of actual naval warfare, where every noise competed for attention and contributed to overwhelming confusion. The result was one of the most immersive soundscapes in cinema history. Audiences didn't just watch the battle scenes, they felt physically surrounded by them. King's dedication to authentic audio turned every engagement into a visceral experience that demonstrated how sound design could be as powerful as any visual effect. Number 11. Music on board, Crowe and Bettany's duet. The friendship between Captain Aubrey and Dr. Acheron needed more than dialogue to feel genuine. Peter Weir found the perfect expression of their bond through music, but he refused to fake it with hand doubles or studio musicians. Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany spent months learning to actually play violin and cello for their intimate duet scenes. This wasn't casual training. Both actors worked with professional musicians, practicing for hours until they could perform convincing renditions of period pieces. The duets they played weren't just background atmosphere, they symbolized the intellectual and emotional connection between a warrior and a scholar. The result elevated their relationship beyond typical buddy dynamics. When audiences watched them play together, they witnessed genuine collaboration and mutual respect. The music became a language that transcended their differences, showing how art can bridge even the widest philosophical divides. Number 12. The surgery that shocked the crew. One of the film's most unforgettable moments shows Dr. Acheron performing emergency surgery on himself after being shot. This wasn't Hollywood invention. The scene was inspired by actual medical journals from the 1800s, where ship's surgeons documented performing desperate procedures without anesthesia or proper assistance. Paul Bettany's performance was so convincingly visceral that even hardened crew members found it difficult to watch. The scene was filmed with clinical precision, showing the instruments, the blood, and the sheer determination required to operate on oneself while remaining conscious. Bettany committed fully to the physical and psychological horror of the moment. The sequence demonstrated the brutal reality of naval medicine in an era before modern pain management. It showed audiences exactly what kind of courage and desperation defined life aboard these ships. More than any battle scene, this moment captured the raw human cost of maritime warfare. Number 13. The Navy within the film crew. Peter Weir didn't just want his actors to understand naval hierarchy. He wanted everyone on set to live it. He ran the entire production like a functioning warship, complete with ranks, duties, and strict naval discipline. Cast and crew members were assigned positions that mirrored the actual structure aboard HMS Surprise. This wasn't theatrical gimmick, it was practical methodology. Everyone addressed each other by naval rank rather than their real names or job titles. Orders flowed through proper chains of command. The approach created an environment where the line between filming and living aboard a 19th century vessel became beautifully blurred. The immersive system fostered genuine unity and mutual respect that few productions ever achieve. People understood their roles and responsibilities in ways that transcended typical film set dynamics. This organizational philosophy didn't just improve authenticity, it created a functional community that mirrored the actual HMS Surprise crew. Number 14. Disguised for battle. One of the film's most thrilling sequences shows HMS Surprise disguising itself as a whaler to lure the French frigate Acheron within striking range. This wasn't creative fiction. It was lifted directly from actual Royal Navy tactics during the Napoleonic Wars. Outgunned British ships regularly used deception and improvisation to overcome superior enemies. Naval commanders would alter their ship's appearance, fly false flags, and even change crew uniforms to appear as harmless merchant vessels or neutral craft. Once enemy ships approached close enough, they would reveal their true identity and strike with devastating surprise. It was psychological warfare combined with naval engineering. Weir's respect for historical cleverness shines through this sequence. Instead of relying on impossible heroics or pure firepower, the film showed how intelligence and cunning often decided naval engagements. The scene celebrated the kind of tactical brilliance that made British naval commanders legendary throughout the Age of Sail. Number 15. The box office that sank, then soared. When Master and Commander first sailed into theaters, critics showered it with praise and predicted awards glory. The film received 10 Academy Award nominations and won 2 Oscars for cinematography and sound editing. Yet, despite critical acclaim, its box office performance fell disappointingly short of studio expectations. The film earned a respectable but not spectacular return, especially compared to its substantial production budget. Plans for sequels based on other O'Brien novels were quietly shelved. But something remarkable happened over the following years. Home video, streaming platforms, and passionate word of mouth transformed the film into a cult phenomenon. New generations discovered its quiet strength and commitment to authenticity. What was once considered a commercial disappointment became a beloved classic that proved great filmmaking outlasts opening weekend numbers. Number 16. Russell Crowe's commanding presence. Leadership on a film set can make or break a production, and Russell Crowe understood this better than most. While Peter Weir directed the film, Crowe took on an unofficial but crucial role as the production's emotional captain. He didn't just play Captain Aubrey, he embodied the character's leadership philosophy both on and off camera. Crowe motivated cast members during grueling shooting days, maintained morale during difficult scenes, and set the standard for professionalism that others followed. His approach mirrored Aubrey's blend of charisma, discipline, and genuine care for his crew. This blurring of role and reality created remarkable authenticity. The cast didn't need to pretend their captain was a natural leader. They experienced it daily. Crowe's commitment to living the part transformed the entire production dynamic, proving that sometimes the best performances extend far beyond what cameras capture. Number 17. Surviving the Storm of Cape Horn. The film's legendary storm sequence stands as one of cinema's most physically demanding achievements. While many modern productions would rely on digital effects, Peter Weir built his Tempest from colossal wind cannons, massive water towers, and hand-cranked wave machines. The result was a practical storm that actors had to genuinely survive. Cast members were drenched for hours, battered by artificial wind and waves that felt all too real. The physical exhaustion visible on screen wasn't acting. It was authentic human struggle against mechanical elements designed to overwhelm. Actors clung to rigging, fought to maintain balance, and shouted commands over roaring wind machines. Weir's philosophy drove every decision. If it feels real to the actors, it looks real to the audience. The storm scene vindicated this approach completely. No amount of digital wizardry could have replicated the raw physicality of performers pushed to their absolute limits. Number 18. The Cult That Grew at Sea. Box office disappointment often signals the end of a film's cultural relevance, but Master and Commander defied conventional wisdom. Years after its theatrical release, something unexpected began happening. Online communities formed around the film, celebrating its craftsmanship and authentic approach to storytelling. The film became a symbol of what cinema could achieve when prioritizing authenticity over flash. Streaming platforms introduced it to audiences who'd missed its original release, and many found themselves captivated by its quiet strength. Discussion forums analyzed its historical accuracy, musical choices, and philosophical depth with scholarly devotion. This grassroots revival transformed commercial failure into cultural triumph. The film found its true audience not through marketing campaigns, but through genuine appreciation for its artistry. Master and Commander proved that some stories need time to find their people, and that lasting impact matters more than opening weekend numbers. Number 19. Composing calm amid the chaos. Most naval war films rely on sweeping orchestral scores to heighten emotion and drive action sequences. Peter Weir took the opposite approach, selecting classical pieces by Bach, Corelli, and Vaughan Williams instead of commissioning a traditional Hollywood soundtrack. These refined, intimate compositions created a striking contrast with the film's brutal maritime violence. The music choices reflected the film's deeper themes. While cannons roared and men died, the soundtrack reminded audiences of civilization, culture, and the intellectual pursuits that separated humanity from pure savagery. This restraint elevated the emotional impact throughout the film. Rather than telling audiences how to feel, the music created space for reflection. The approach won critical praise and demonstrated how sometimes the most powerful artistic choice is knowing when to hold back rather than overwhelm. Number 20. Peter Weir's no-ego commandment. From day one, Peter Weir established a rule that defined the entire production's culture: no ego, no exceptions. It didn't matter if you were the lead actor or a lighting technician. Everyone followed the same code of conduct. Star treatment, arrogance, and entitled behavior had no place aboard his cinematic ship. The policy went beyond words. Everyone addressed each other by assigned naval ranks rather than celebrity status or job titles. Russell Crowe wasn't a movie star on set. He was Captain Aubrey. This system dissolved the typical Hollywood hierarchy and created genuine equality among the crew. The disciplined environment fostered harmony that audiences could feel in every frame. People worked together with shared purpose rather than competing egos. Weir's commandment proved that great filmmaking requires more than talent. It demands humility, mutual respect, and the willingness to serve something larger than individual ambition. Number 21. Capturing chaos with 6 cameras. Naval battles are inherently chaotic, with action erupting simultaneously across multiple decks and directions. Peter Weir knew that traditional single-camera filming would sanitize this confusion into neat, predictable sequences. His solution was radical: deploy up to 6 cameras running simultaneously during battle scenes, capturing the mayhem from every conceivable angle. This technique created unpredictable, dynamic footage that felt spontaneous rather than choreographed. Camera operators didn't follow predetermined shot lists. They reacted to action as it unfolded, just like actual participants in combat. The approach meant massive amounts of film stock and editing complexity, but the results justified every expense. The multi-camera strategy gave audiences an immersive perspective impossible to achieve through conventional methods. Viewers weren't watching a battle. They were caught in the middle of it, surrounded by cannon smoke, splintering wood, and frantic sailors. The technique transformed spectacle into experience. Number 22. Designing the enemy, the Acheron. Every hero needs a worthy adversary, and HMS Surprise required an enemy ship that felt equally authentic and formidable. The French frigate Acheron was designed using laser scans of the USS Constitution, the legendary warship known as Old Ironsides. This wasn't laziness, it was respect for historical accuracy and naval engineering. The design team studied authentic ship plans from the Napoleonic era, ensuring that Acheron's dimensions, armament, and construction matched vessels that actually sailed those waters. Every detail from hull shape to cannon placement was meticulously researched. This attention to rival ship design elevated the film's sense of scale and genuine naval rivalry. When Surprise finally engaged Acheron, audiences understood they were witnessing a clash between 2 equally magnificent vessels. The French ship wasn't just an obstacle, it was a character in its own right, representing everything Aubrey's crew had to overcome. Number 23. The boys who became midshipmen. Child actors typically show up on set, perform their scenes, and return to normal life. Peter Weir rejected this approach entirely for the young performers playing midshipmen aboard HMS Surprise. Many had never appeared in films before, and Weir wanted to preserve their natural reactions and genuine emotions rather than trained acting techniques. His solution was radical immersion. The boys actually lived aboard the ship Replica, following a junior crew member's daily routine. They learned navigation, stood watches, and absorbed shipboard discipline just like real 19th century midshipmen would have experienced. The genuine awe and fear in their eyes came from living in an unfamiliar, demanding environment. When audiences watched these young faces react to battle or struggle with adult responsibilities, they witnessed authentic emotional truth. Weir's approach captured something rare in cinema, the actual feeling of childhood thrust into war's harsh realities. Number 24. Friendship at the helm. Action and spectacle drove the plot forward, but the film's true emotional core rested on an unlikely friendship. Captain Jack Aubrey and Dr. Stephen Mowrin represented 2 fundamentally different worldviews: the warrior devoted to duty and the intellectual committed to knowledge. Their bond transcended these differences, creating the film's beating heart. Their relationship balanced the entire narrative between explosive action and philosophical reflection. Aubrey's tactical brilliance found its counterweight in Maturin's scientific curiosity. When they argued about priorities or played music together, audiences witnessed 2 fully realized characters who challenged and completed each other. This friendship elevated master and commander beyond typical war epics. The film became a meditation on loyalty, respect, and how opposing perspectives can coexist in mutual admiration. Their bond proved that the greatest adventures aren't about conquering enemies. They're about finding companions who make the journey meaningful. Number 25. The captain's final letter. When filming wrapped, Peter Weir could have simply thanked everyone and moved on to his next project. Instead, he left a handwritten letter aboard the HMS Surprise Replica, a personal message that thanked the cast and crew for keeping the spirit of adventure alive. The gesture was quintessentially Weir, private, thoughtful, and deeply meaningful. The letter became a quiet legend among those who worked on the production. It wasn't meant for publicity or public consumption, it was a captain's farewell to his crew. The note captured everything the film represented: discipline meeting artistry, professionalism embracing heart. This poetic farewell perfectly reflected a production built on mutual respect and shared purpose. Weir's final act wasn't claiming credit or celebrating success. It was honoring everyone who helped transform his vision into reality. The letter remained aboard the ship, a lasting testament to a filmmaker who understood that great art requires great humanity. 2 decades later, Master and Commander stands as a rare monument to cinematic authenticity. Every storm was built by hand, every note was played by the actors, and every gesture came from genuine understanding. Peter Weir proved that dedication to craft could create something timeless, even when box office numbers suggested otherwise. The film's journey from commercial disappointment to cult classic mirrors its own story of perseverance. If you love uncovering the hidden stories behind great films, hit that like button and subscribe. Which of these revelations made you appreciate this masterpiece even more? Tell us in the comments.